Hello, everybody, and thank you for joining us for another episode of Videoguys Live. It is Tuesday. It is about 3 o'clock, which means it is time to talk for about 15 or 20 minutes about live production equipment, just video production in general. Today, we have some new and exciting things to talk about. We have the Canon CR-N350 and CR-N400 PTZ cameras in stock and available at Videoguys. So these are two brand new cameras available from Canon. They're both in stock and ready to ship to you. These cameras are meant to be kind of in between the 100 and 300 and the 500 and 700. So why did Canon make new PTZ cameras? Well, they saw some features that were in the CR-N700 and wanted to bring them down into more cost-effective PTZ cameras. So both the CR-N350 and the 400 have 4K 60p. They have the 400 has 4K over SDI, and they have Genlock and Timecode. They have slower pan and tilt movement speeds. They have detailed image quality adjustment, LUT support, face and head detection. All of these features are available in the 700, and these are being added to the 400, and a lot of these features are being added to the CR-N350 as well. So let's talk about some of the things that these cameras share and then the differences between them. Right off the bat, both of them have the same sensor. They have a 1/2 inch CMOS sensor with hybrid autofocus. They both have the ability to output at 4K 60p, and we'll talk about this a little bit later. Both of them also have a 20x optical zoom lens with the ability to do an advanced zoom up to 40x in full HD. They both have the Canon Auto Tracking Lite built in. They both have built-in NDI HX2 and SRT support. They both have 3D support for VR tracking. And they are both PoE++ compatible cameras. And of course, they both support the Canon XC Protocol, which is Canon's proprietary IP control protocol, which we'll get into a little bit more. Now, the CR-N350 has a 3G SDI output, which is 1080/60. It has an HDMI output, which can do the full 4K 60, and it has USB and IP video output, which is going to be your NDI, RTMP, SRT. It also has a 3.5mm audio input. On the CR-N400, that's where you start to see some more of the features of the CR-N500 and 700. It has a 12G SDI output as well as a 3G SDI output, HDMI, USB, and IP video output. It also has Genlock, timecode, dual XLR audio inputs for embedding, plus a 3.5mm audio input. So a lot of great features on both of these cameras. Now, like I said, both of these cameras are 4K 60p PTZ cameras. They both have 422 and 10-bit color depth, so they're going to be very accurate color science and chip charts. They both support the ability to add LUTs to them. They both have a 20x optical zoom with a 40x advanced zoom feature when outputting in full HD, and we'll get into that. They also have eye detection for autofocus as well as head detection. When you're looking at higher level cinema cameras, typically they are going to focus on the eye because that is the most important thing to the viewer. You don't want to have the autofocus go to something else. And it also has the ability to track that face and head and eye to ensure that your camera is focused on the right thing. They have incredibly smooth and slow pan tilt drive speeds at as little as 0.1 degrees per second. They have some advanced cropping features, which we'll get into a little bit later, of course, with the tally light on them. And again, on the 400, you have the 12G, 3G SDI outputs, as well as HDMI Genlock timecode and XLR audio inputs. We'll look at the back of each of the cameras really quickly. Again, as you can see on the CR-N350, you have your HDMI out, you have a 3G SDI output, you have LAN, which is PoE++ compatible and NDI compatible and SRT compatible, and you also have USB and a 3.5 millimeter mic audio input. On the back of the CR-N400, you have your 12G SDI output, you have Timecode, you have a 3G SDI output, Genlock or TimeSync. You'll also have your LAN abilities, which again is PoE++ for power, NDI, RTMP, SRT, and your control protocols. And it also has 2 full-size XLR inputs for audio. We have a little video that Canon did talking about the CR-N400, so we will play that video for you now. As you can see, a lot of great features from the CR-N400, and we're going to talk about some of those a little bit more in depth. I just wanted to show you this slide to show you the scale and size of the CR-N350 and the 400 compared to the CR-N100 and the 300, as well as the 500 and the 700. Think of the CR-N350 and 400 as the camera, the sensor from the 100 and 300, but the terminals and processing power from the 500 and 700. So it really is the best of both worlds between these two ranges of cameras and a great Goldilocks setting. So like we said at the top of the show, both of these cameras have a 20x optical zoom. So this is not going to be a digital zoom, and at the full 4K 60p resolution, you can have a 20x optical zoom. And as you can see on the bottom of the screen there is a 1x, 10x, and 20x preview of kind of what you can expect with a 20x optical zoom. Now, if you need to get a little bit more out of your zoom, fear not, because Canon has the ability with their advanced zoom to do full HD at 40x. So basically what they're doing here is they are utilizing the fact that it is a 4K sensor, and if you output at 1080, you can have a digital lossless zoom into your 20x zoom and making that a 40x zoom. So as you can see on the right hand of this slide, you can see that there's this jazz concert going on, and you can have a 1x, and you can see the whole stage, and then you can utilize that 40x zoom to really zoom in and focus on just one performer. So these cameras are great in any application where you need to have that advanced zoom. Another thing that is great about these cameras is that they support 3D LUTs. 3D LUTs are great for making sure that all of your cameras look exactly how you want. And the great thing about these LUTs is you can basically copy and paste them onto other cameras with the color matching application that is supported on these cameras. So that is also a great feature available on these cameras. And since we're talking about the LUTs and the lookup tables that are available on these cameras, that just goes another step further, that these cameras are perfect to match with Canon's other cameras, not only their cinema lines, but their camcorders and their DSLRs, and any other camera that can have a LUT on it. You can get these cameras to match those cameras and have a mixed workflow of both more traditional legacy cameras, cinema cameras, camcorders, and PTZ cameras, and they all utilize the same sensors and same lenses and the same LUTs. So your cameras are going to match no matter what you're doing with this Canon workflow. We talked about this at the top of the show too, the crop function on the CR-N400. Now there is a crop function on the CR-N350 as well, but what's really cool about the crop function on the CR-N400 is you can utilize both the 12G SDI to output your full frame image, but then you can take a smaller crop, a 2X crop, and output that at 1080 with the 3G SDI port. So as you can see, you can have different sized crops and be able to output them through both of the SDI cables at the same time. Now, the CR-N350 does also support the ability to do a 2X crop, and it will output at the same time via IP, so it will show up on your network as two different outputs, but you don't have the ability to output through the 12G and the 3G SDI and the 350 because it only has a 3G SDI. Now, you can take that crop functionality one step further and you can actually get a vertical crop. So it doesn't have to be a horizontal crop. You can take a 9:16 vertical crop out of your 16:9 full video. And to kind of show that off a little bit, we had David Doku on for NDI November, and he showed us that in action live on our show, and we will play that snippet for you now.
Moving forward, I'd like to show you that crop feature. And so this is the N400, and you'll see that I've already kind of selected a crop, a 9:16 crop. Like say there was an influencer sitting on that, Canon director's chair, and you want to adjust that 9:16 crop. So you're getting that full, 2160 vertical resolution of that sensor. And really, you can move this around. You can move it around. It doesn't have to be the whole height of the sensor. It can be, a portion of that height. And it's all customizable for that. You can move it up and down. You can shrink it. And not only that, but you could switch from the vertical crop to something else. So if you wanted to, do like a close-up, you could do that, like say with crop 1 and just move it to the head of the speaker. Again, this is called a remote camera control application. It's again included as part of the support that we give to our customers. It doesn't cost you anything else. It utilizes the XC protocol to control any number of cameras and not just movement. You could do the movement, but you could also just really deeply, just like your controllers, you can deeply correct the image parameters, as you can see here, a lot of them. A really full-featured application for that. And yeah, so that was really the demonstration that I wanted to do for the audience, and I'm really happy that I got the chance. Thank you.
Thank you for David for joining us for NDI November and doing that demo. He did a couple other demos with these cameras, so I highly recommend that you go to our YouTube playlist for NDI November and you check out that whole video. It's a lot of great information. And again, thank you to David for joining us for that. Now, we talked about some of the features that are available on the camera with the outputs and the image sensor and the lens and the zoom capabilities. Let's talk about some of the supported protocols. Now, there are a few different ways that you can get video out of the camera other than the HDMI and SDI and USB ports on the cameras. One of the most popular ways is going to be utilizing the NDI HX2 feature of the camera. Now, of course, we here at Videoguys are big fans of NDI. If you're using something like a Netgear M4250 switch with PoE++ compatible ports on it, that means that you can get your video on your network, you can get control on your network, and you can power that camera all through one port, one cable. So a lot of really cool stuff that you can do with NDI. But you can also utilize SRT, and you can do direct streaming to a CDN with RTP, RTSP, or RTMP, or RTMPS. Now, in terms of control protocols, of course, you can use NDI with the NDI video protocols, but Canon is going to recommend utilizing the XC protocol because you can do all of those other things with the camera control application. You can also use standard protocols like Sony Visca, and it does have control protocols for 3D if you wanted to do some VR tracking with like a green screen or something like that. Again, NDI HX2, we're very familiar with that here. That is primarily going to be used on a local area network to be able to get your video to your switcher or to a decoder or wherever you want to be able to display that video feed. SRT is usually going to be used on the wide area network, and that is having the ability to send this camera to a remote location, connect it to the internet, and then you can send an SRT feed through the internet back to your production system to be able to get that camera into your production system. So NDI HX2 and SRT support, as well as, again, RTMP support. Canon's XC Protocol is their proprietary control protocol. It lets you do a lot of really cool things. Obviously, if you're using something like the RCIP100 or the RCIP1000, you're going to be able to do your standard PTZ controls, pan, tilt, zoom, color, exposure, setting presets, doing preset recalls, things like that. But like we said a little bit earlier, you can also do things like being able to set up your LUTs or being able to take a picture of a chip chart with one camera and then being able to copy those settings onto multiple other cameras. And that can all be done through the XC protocol with the remote camera control application. So definitely, if you're looking at the Canon PTZ cameras, make sure you are checking out all of the features that are available only through the XC protocol, because there's a lot of them and they're really cool stuff. Now, Canon, of course, introduced the CR-N350 and 400, but we still have all of the other PTZ cameras available from Canon, including the CR-N100, 300, 500, and 700 for indoor PTZ cameras, as well as their outdoor PTZ cameras, the X300 and the X500. We mentioned a little bit as well that Canon does have two controllers available, the RCIP100 and RCIP1000. Now, CR-N350 and CR-N400 are now available, which means there are new bundles that are available with Canon's PTZ cameras. So the way that these bundles work is if you get any three of either the CR-N100s, 300s, 350s, 400s, or the 500s, along with a RCIP100 PTZ controller, you can get $300 off of your order. If you wanted to do a little bit of mixing and matching of cameras, absolutely feel free to give us a call and we can put together a bundle with you with the best pricing available. And not only do we get new bundles with the CR-N350 and the N400, Canon is also offering a new bundle with the CR-N700, which is their flagship camera, full 4K 60p with a 1-inch CMOS sensor. Really, really great camera. If you get 3 of them plus the RC IP1000 in this bundle, you can get $500 off of the bundle. So this is a great time to start just looking at all of what Canon has available to offer. And again, if you have any questions about anything that we went over today, you want to find the right Canon PTZ camera for your workflow, absolutely feel free to give us a call at 800-323-2325. And that's all I have for today's show. I hope you learned something, and we'll see you next Tuesday at about 3 o'clock Eastern. Thanks.
Videoguys is available Monday through Friday. Give us a call at 1-800-323-2325. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter and Instagram to stay connected with all of our updates. And you can like us on Facebook. Keep an eye out for our live videos, and don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Thanks for watching.